on behalf of the Department of Human Development and the FACE Center at SVT College of Home Science, we are taking this initiative to spread some awareness on the World Mental Health Day 2025. And the theme for this year, given by the World Mental Health Federation, is access to services on mental health during catastrophes and emergencies. So we are going to quickly look at what can be done in the case of improving our mental health whenever there is emergencies or whenever there are world level catastrophes. But firstly, let's understand what mental health is, which is our overall well-being, and it includes our physical, social, and emotional well-being. And all of these things collectively impact on a day-to-day basis the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act. And therefore, maintaining our mental health is a very important need of the hour. So, what would tell us if there are any possible concerns of poor mental health? The very first thing is to know if you ever have persistent low feelings or persistent sad mood. If there are any kind of fears which are very excessive, extreme, any worries which are persistent and very concerning. If you end up withdrawing from the activities that you really enjoyed earlier, such as withdrawing from talking to your loved ones or withdrawing from talking to your friends. And lastly, if you see sudden and extreme changes in the mood. So noticing any of these four signs and symptoms should be a way for you to understand if there are any kind of prevalent mental health concerns. So how would you support a person if they are undergoing an anxiety or a panic attack? The very first thing is to stay calm and composed and stay with the person. A lot of times we struggle to understand how could we support a person who is having a panic attack. So in such a case, it's very essential to stay with them and be as calm as possible so that they are feeling relaxed. Secondly is to help them shift to a newer place, and ask them to distract themselves by doing a different activity altogether. So that could be listening to music, that could also be undergoing a stretching exercise, that could also be engaging in any kind of a breathing technique. Secondly, we always think that, saying words like do not panic, do not worry, and relax would be very reassuring. However, the words should be in a very calm and composed manner and avoid using the terms like relax and don't panic. The words should be more comforting, and this could also be done when you help the person engage in relaxation techniques like breath work, help them to ground themselves. Like I mentioned, help them to distract themselves by looking at their surrounding. A very common grounding technique is also the 3-3-3 rule. So, where you help the person understand and identify three things that they can see, three things that they can hear, and three things that they can touch and feel. So these techniques will help a person undergoing an anxiety attack experience in the moment relaxation and calmness. We all know that seeking help for a mental health crisis sometimes can be very, very difficult. However, this seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but it is a sign of strength. And this early support, like the theme of the Mental Health Day this time states, is the way in which you can avoid severe concerns and crisis during the case of emergencies in particular. So, what could be done in order to take care of yourself during a mental health emergency or during a world level crisis situation? The first is that you prioritize self care. Think about your own physical and mental well being and stay connected to people whom you really care about and people who really love you and are close to you. Be informed and be aware of the possibility of any kind of a professional help. Empower yourself with positive and optimistic words. And we also can look at these broad approaches on how do you cope with mental health concerns. So practicing mindfulness, practicing self-kindness, and knowing that you are connected to a common humanity. These things, having practiced on a regular, consistent basis, can also help you to avoid any kind of a severe mental health concern. So, a very common practice, which is an evidence based approach rooted in the theory of self compassion, is the SAFE technique. And this SAFE technique is very, very useful in order to deal with difficult emotions. So let's look at what the SAFE technique says. The first step is to soften. So that is to take a deep breath and recognize the difficult and immense emotions that you are feeling. Recognize that emotion's presence. The second is to allow, which is to give yourself the permission to let that emotion be, exist as it is. Avoid clinging to that emotion in any manner. The next step is to feel, look and analyze, reflect on why that emotion is cropping up, try and identify the triggers which are resulting into that negative emotion and how this particular negative emotion is shaping and influencing the way you think and feel. And over here, you will understand how these negative emotions, in particular, such as the extreme concern and fear, can lead you into a series of overthinking and unhelpful thoughts. And lastly, expand your awareness. Have this understanding that you know that human beings are capable of making mistakes and you are not the only one alone struggling through these difficult emotions. Similar concerns and similar situations also happen with a lot of different people, and seeking help and seeking support is the way you can go forward to help yourself deal with these difficult situations. Lastly, these are just some of the very important mental health helpline services which are available for all of us at a 24 by 7, 365 days. The very first is the Government of India initiative, which is the Telemanas helpline. Fortis Hospital also provides a crisis helpline, and again, this is available 24 by 7. Another NGO called Empower Minds, which is also funded by the Aditya Birla Group, has this availability of a 24 by 7 crisis helpline. And another NGO called the Vandravela Foundation also provides WhatsApp services, which is another 24 by 7 mental health helpline. So, on this mental health day, take a pledge to understand the importance of self care techniques and understand the importance of helping another person who's also undergoing a similar mental health crisis. Thank you.